Hello, happy Wednesday. The countdown is on for Halloween. Note my fall Halloween October apparel. I have my little fall leaves going on. I am coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, and it is definitely starting to feel like fall outside and the leaves are falling and it's awesome. So I'm going to ask, where are you tuning in from? Does it feel like fall where you are? Please comment below. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes to join. I have Magen McRoberts backstage, excited to speak to everyone about a very, very popular topic this year, and that is virtual events. I have talked about them a lot in all of my consulting and webinars, but I think it's really exciting to bring in another expert who's been producing these all throughout the year as well. And she comes with a lot of different experiences working with small, medium, large size nonprofits, multitude of different events. And we're going to speak to some really creative examples as well to keep us brainstorming towards the end of the year. So, hey, everybody who's on, where are you tuning in from? What is your role at your nonprofit? Please comment below. And just a little, as everyone's joining, a little freebie to get us started, because I always like to have them, is I wanted to give you top 10 fundraising tools for giving season. So this is a nifty QR code that we might even talk about as a tool in our virtual events. But if you take your phone and you pretend like you're taking a picture with your camera over the QR code, it'll bring you up to my website and a pop-up should come up and you can download this free guide. It has top fundraising tools for everything from design to virtual event platforms, to analytics, to social media management tools, everything across the board you can get in this tool. And with that said, I'll give it a couple more minutes. Let me know again in the comments, where are you tuning in from? What nonprofit do you work for? And then while you guys are doing that and downloading that freebie, let me just give a brief bio introduction where it's due for Magen. I love this intro. She is a CEO by day and auctioneer emcee by night. She has built a full service event fundraising firm that provides organizations with a one-stop shop. We all need that experience for all of their fundraising event needs. And of course, now that expands into the virtual space. Her company is called Eventworks. And at the end, you'll hear a sneak peek into something she's working on that's really cool with her company as we're all evolving so much this year. She really loves to assist her clients with every aspect of the event planning process. She is a fellow Atlanta City girl like me, and I was so grateful to be introduced to her earlier this year and to have somebody else in the nonprofit space to collaborate with and to do things like this. Nancy, hey, from San Diego. I love it. Jordan, hey, Jordan. All right, we're going to go ahead and remove this, and let's go ahead and bring Magen on. Hello.
Hi, Dana. How are you?
I'm great. Happy Wednesday and pre-Halloween. Do you have any fun plans?
Yes, we are escaping. So it's, weekends for us are events. It's work time. And luckily, nonprofits do not plan fundraising events on Halloween. So we're actually headed up to the North Georgia mountains this weekend to watch the leaves turn if they have not already been blown off by this hurricane that's flying over. We're looking forward to getting out of town this weekend.
That's amazing. That'll be really nice. I was just up. A lot of people know I just got married 2 weeks ago in South Carolina, and it was already changing. The kind of fall weather was taking shape, and it is literally stunning. That's so nice.
Your photos were beautiful. I did check them out. So very exciting, and congratulations to you. You're a married woman now.
I know. I had to make the name. It's on this side. I had to make the name change on everything. You know, it's always harder for the woman, right? We got to make all the last name changes everywhere.
You know, I was excited to make name change because Magen McRoberts had a nice ring to it. So I was like, it sounds like a weather girl. So
I love it. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge with us. So let's go ahead and dive on in because I think we all want to get to the juicy information. And that is, how have you seen virtual events really evolve over the past 6 months or so?
So much. I mean, it is, I mean, I think that's the first thing that I'll say is it's incredible to see what has happened even in 6 months, not only in software and technology, but really even I want to give some mad credit to our clients, to nonprofits. Many nonprofits have been doing the same types of events for a long time, and that's their safety zone. And I know this was really scary for them, but the ones who have embraced this and adapted, I just give them so much props because that's a hard decision to make. It's a whole new language. It's a whole new world. So that's the first thing I would say is just the client's receptivity and adaptability. The other thing that I would want to talk about is really the concept of tearing the house down. So when we first went into virtual events, I think we all as fundraisers, as fundraising event planners, decided, okay, we'll just take what's been working. We'll just take the event model and we'll just make that into a virtual event. And it doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, we
preach.
We had to learn the hard way. I mean, we learned the hard way, right? And, you know, I have this analogy now when I work with clients where I help them understand that whatever house that was built on that foundation being an organization's mission, whatever house was standing there that worked really, really well in a in-person event model, the decor, the food, the design, the layout of the house, where people were going to park, it doesn't work. Right. So we have to tear that whole house down, maintain the foundation, right? Stay focused on the mission, and then rebuild the house with a new layout, with new design, new decor, new food and beverage experience. And the parking is on people's couches. So, I mean, that's kind of like a fun thing where I think you can, instead of being afraid of it, really leverage that and how you can create a unique guest experience across the board for people who are tuning in from wherever they're tuning in from. So yeah, it's been amazing to watch what's happened and even how much we've learned in the last 6 months. I think that we're going to have another 6 months of learning. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited to see what kind of events we're producing by May of 2021.
I love that. I just had a phone call earlier today with an organization based in Los Angeles, and they're planning their February virtual event. And she said the same thing. She's like, there's conversations about trying to do hybrid, but probably not, because you try and plan an event based off of the person that is the least comfortable and go from there.
Well, and I think that we will see what we're calling hub and spoke model, where we're going to have a centralized virtual event. And some of this is already happening. And then kind of these micro parties that are happening around the city, where they can bring
your little pod of friends that you're comfortable with.
Your quarantine. So, where you're actually getting together with neighbors, close friends, people you feel, comfortable sharing space with. So there's still that sense of community infused into it, but in a safe and more like disconnected way, really. So
yeah. And to that point, has there been a virtual event that's done that really well, or that you think has done something really creative and different? Because I think a lot of times it's like, okay, we did our first virtual event. Now what? How do we make it different? How do we change things for sponsors? How do we keep our guests inclined to participate when there's Zoom fatigue? Is there any event that you've helped produce that's kind of like been really fun and interactive?
We haven't fully produced it because it's not until the first weekend of November.
Coming up.
Yeah, coming up. And this one is a 300-pound gorilla. I mean, so it's for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Metro Atlanta. We've been working with them for about 4 or 5 years now, and they have an amazing event. It's about 900 people typically in room, called Youth of the Year. And it's a youth competition of the various star players in their clubs that kind of compete against each other in a American Idol-esque way, but instead of talent, it's speeches. And they're giving, they work with mentors, and typically the event in person is just knock your socks off, like, You're so inspired. You hear from these kids, their journey, their story. And it's one of the most coveted events in Atlanta, I would say. I mean, people like fight to get tables. They sell out every year. And when we got hired to pivot this virtually, it was a think. I mean, we really had to have a think session about it, but we've come up with something that is so unique. We have a panel of judges where we have the kids doing the speeches, and then we're videotaping the judges watching the speeches so that they're getting their feedback live. And then we're actually bringing people into the club, into one of the Boys and Girls Clubs, where we've done all the filming, most of the pre-recording, but we are going live there that night to announce the winner. And the winner will be shown live. So it's a really cool infusion of pre-recorded, which please always recommend do pre-recorded as much as possible, mitigate those risks. But infusing a lot of creativity into how this is going to look and feel for donors who are used to a certain caliber of event that we're now translating into the virtual space. And they're doing so much. I mean, we've got a tech support team that are going into high-level donor homes.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Live stream setup. We've got a tech support hotline, you know, all that we've built into our company. So lots of really high touch, very unique experiences, something that we never would have thought to do, you know, in the olden days of in-person events. So
yeah, no kidding. So in that case, are all of the student speeches, are those pre-recorded as well?
They are. So they are pre-recorded, and the winners, they don't know that they're the finalists. They don't actually know they're the finalists. And so we will show those that night. So they will all find out in real time that they are a finalist. And then the winner will find out in real time that they've won. So, and they get
love that
worship. And yeah, I mean, there's some really, I could go on it for days about that one, but that's one that we're really proud of. We've got a great account team on it, and we're really excited. We've got a great partner inside the BGCMA. So it's going to be fun. So tune in, you know?
Yes, I love that. I love that. You have to share it in the comments later so that we can all take a look and watch it. That'd be great. Similarly, I worked on an event for a Chamber of Commerce Small Business Awards, and we did a very similar thing where, right, to mitigate risk, all of the sponsors for each award were prepping, and they gave kind of like the Oscars of here's your nominees. Sure. And they did that pre-recorded. And then we had all of the nominees. Actually, we used StreamYard to produce it. That's what we're using today. And we had the top 5 for each category waiting backstage. And then we would bring on the winner. So we had in real time. Yeah. And so it was, you heard the excitement because a lot of times they were in their office or they were at their home. But when they were in their offices, you could see like their colleagues like clapping in the background. And yeah. And then the comments, I think this is the great thing about the hybrid approach of live, kind of like if you're doing something with awards, is we had over 900 comments on this live. And there was like 6,000 people watching, because normally, and this is just another benefit to virtual events, is normally if you're in a small room, you have a maximum of oftentimes 300-ish. They had 6,000 people watching because grandma could watch from Ohio, right? That couldn't be in Sarasota, Florida, or your best friend who happens to be at work could pop on for 20 minutes and watch you during your segment. I think it adds a lot of creativity, and then they can share it. If it's a live stream thing, they can share it. Well,
and even post-event, they can use that asset to market. I mean, that's the 100%. Other thing with that. Unless in live event days, unless you hired a videography team to come in and videotape your event and then turn that into a sizzle reel that then you market, which is an added expense, which very few nonprofits are going to invest in, you know, just based on tight budgets. You know, now we are leveraging these opportunities. We're doing pre-event sizzle reels, like a commercial almost, to hook people and get in. And you can promote it in such a bigger and broader way to gain more traction for your mission, you know? So it's actually, it broadens your reach in a lot of ways. Not scary, of course, because you're like, who's going to tune in? But I think that overcoming that fear and embracing the benefit is really where we see our nonprofits take that turn of like, understanding how to leverage a virtual event opposed to the safety of an in-person,
Right.
200 people in the room, captive audience. So
yeah, it was interesting. The other thing, biggest difference was for them specifically, they're like, we're used to running around all morning, like prepping things for an in-person event. And they're like, what do we do? I was like, nothing. We already set it up. We just have to hit go live and it's going to start. And so that was something that was interesting too.
So Dana, so go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say similarly, as an auctioneer and a host and talent, I'm used to starting to get ready at 2:00 in the afternoon, hair, heels, makeup, the whole nine, arriving at the venue at 4 or 5, doing all the sound and audio checks, run through the slides, and then 2 hours of cocktailing, and you're talking about all your auction items, and then it would be a 10-hour day. We wouldn't get home till midnight, and now it's like I roll in, I've got my dress on and my slippers. I'm only bussed up to be able to film, and I'm home by like 8:30, so I can tuck my daughter into bed. There's a lot of benefits to virtual that I think people are starting to understand and see, even for the people who are the providers, the vendors as well. So
I love that. Your live auction skills are on point. I don't know how. Do you have to take breath lessons for that?
I just had to practice, I didn't actually take breath. It's called yoga and meditation, but thank you. It's fun.
She's good. If you guys are looking for somebody to be on, not only does she produce these events, but you can have her as talent. Yes. So, and I think you have do you have video content of that on your site, right?
Yeah, I think we should, and I'll send you some links if you want to send them out. I'm happy to send out. We've done about a dozen virtual events this year, and have another 6 in the pipeline for the end of the year. So yeah, we've got some pretty good footage so far.
Amazing, love that. So to that point of the dozen events and 6 upcoming, there's a lot of platforms and tools out there that especially have become more prominent since this has been happening all year long. Are there specific platforms and tools you recommend?
So this is a common question I get from clients, and my answer is the same, which is it depends on what we want to achieve. Mm-hmm. If we want to have a community feel event where you can have a lot of different people on screen together in a Zoom type of environment, that's going to be one platform. If we want to have people commenting, like you talked about for the award ceremony for the chamber, that's going to be a different platform. If we want people to just tune in and watch, that's going to be something else. So I am less about what's the best platform and more about what's the best platform for what you're trying to achieve. Because I think that there's a lot of great tools. I mean, StreamYard's one of them. We've got some great mobile bidding partners that now have live feed integrations. GiveSmart has been a great partner to us. And OneCause is also, GiveSmart and OneCause are 2 of our partners that we've used a lot for live stream and bidding integration. But it's amazing to see like all the technology that has emerged from this, and that's improved, and rapid fire improvements. So I think it's less about getting attached to a platform and more about understanding what your goals are so that you can pick the best platform based on your needs.
Absolutely agree. One of the key things I feel like everybody should have by now, but I meant to do this at the beginning, but I forgot, is audio. Yes. Lighting are 2 of the most important things that you can have. So if you have not already invested in a good webcam, I use this one. It's called Adobe Go. A lot of the main webcams have been sold out. So this is one that I found that does a pretty good job of having clear camera, and it has a built-in, if you see this ring light, it's built-in lighting. So I have a big light in front of me, but there's also, I don't know if you can tell, it just got brighter, right? So this has 3, this is off, 1, 2, 3. So it can get pretty bright on its own without you having to have
your aura just like got like.
I love it. And then I have my AirPods in that I'm only using for the purposes of hearing Megan, but I'm actually using my Blue Yeti microphone if that got even closer. Also, I'm not sure if these are available. It's been really popular. The Blue Yeti mic is the most popular microphone for podcasting. But AirPods work great, and they are definitely in stock. So
what you're talking about, though, is DIY. I mean, I think that's really important because
totally.
You're talking about DIY fundraising where you are leveraging your in-home tools. Right. And that's not something that we've done. I mean, I'm using my laptop camera. I'm using my laptop sound. I mean, you can probably tell the quality difference between our two videos. What we're really focused on is bringing in production quality value. Right. With professional, live streamers, cameras, multiple camera angles, video switchers. We've got a whole control panel working on sound, boom mics, labs. So we're doing that. We're leaning towards that direction, right. More with really, professional quality production versus a DIY. Not that either one is better or worse because it's all about the content. But that's just more of what we've been leaning towards. So I'm excited to learn. I want to look into these tools that you're talking about so I can up my game.
And there's a great combo sometimes, right? Like if you're an organization that might not have a big budget, and maybe we can talk about that, is the hybrid where your pre-recorded content might be that very produced feel, but then maybe you can't hire that person for another full day rate. That's right. So in the case of the chamber, because the winners, because we're being really sensitive to COVID, the winners were all at their offices or they were at home. So we sent them a little kit so that when they would come on screen, they would look good and sound okay. And then we went through a run through, right, where they can test all those things. So is there, working with you, which I guess goes into the next one, is about your process, is how do you, I guess, figure out what's going to work best based upon budgetary needs? So do you have kind of a lower tier and then kind of the big production, or do you lean starting in like one budget area?
Yeah. So traditionally, we always had our services a la carte. So you could do theme development, board activation, design collateral, talent, tech support. You could do all these different various super customized contracts with us. Well, we have found that in our experience, that doesn't work. It doesn't translate as well in a virtual setting. And the reason is because there's too many variable risks. So what we've done, stepped back earlier this year and really reformulated the way that we are selling our packages. And that's exactly what we've done. We've bundled them so that you're getting a turnkey experience when it comes to storyboarding, sponsor deck development, that's including benefits, tiers, how we're promoting them and weaving them into the virtual experience, an account manager, the production as far as director, producer, all the post-production, all the video assets, the live streaming, and that's a variable cost as well. In addition to the tech support, the design elements. So we really try to think through what is going to be every turn that they go through in that life cycle of a virtual event. How can we provide that in a turnkey model? We do have budget-friendly options, but it's actually more about the length of the program than the tools. So we have called the 20-minute solution, and this one's been awesome. I will tell you, we have had great feedback and success in this model where it's basically 2 days of filming, and we capture all the video assets. We do all the full deck turnaround, but the event's only 20 minutes, and we sell it and we pitch it and we set up comms for them that way, like a content calendar of how they promote the event of hey, we only want 20 minutes of your time. And we weave fundraising into that. And we have seen not only amazing financial success, not only is it more budget friendly, but the feedback that we get from donors, from viewers is thank you. They said, I donated more just because I didn't have to watch for a whole hour.
Yeah.
And we have this mindset that we're trying to get from a 4-hour event to 1 hour. How are we going to do it? How are we going to cram it all in? But when you have a highly produced piece, the art of storytelling is so much stronger. You have so much more flexibility and freedom to take what would have maybe taken an hour to communicate to a live room, and you can put that into a 2-minute promo or a 2-minute spot. And so I even said this to to a client the other day. Imagine how quickly we can be sold on a product in 1 minute from a Super Bowl commercial.
100%.
That cost $1 million to make.
More than that now.
Yeah, I mean, and you probably know better from California and being in that world, but it's really incredible with the art of production, what we can deliver to our donors in this new space.
I think my favorite, speaking spot on to what you're talking about, is Charity Water years ago. Yeah. Do you remember they produced Scott's 20-minute video?
Yes.
Everyone thought they were crazy. You invest one time into this beautifully produced storytelling video. And they have used that video for years. Because you can pull from the 20 minutes. But they did, I was just talking about it the other day, they did a ad buy on Facebook that was specifically asking for monthly donations. They got 5 times return on their ad spend. That equaled $500,000 annual recurring donations from that one video. Their
model and the art of storytelling that they have nailed. So I got introduced to them through his book. I read Thirst. That was my first entry into Charity Water, and then it was all over from there. But the art of storytelling from Scott and his wife, I mean, they're just amazing, incredible influencers, and they have a really unique model in that one time your dollar matters, every dollar goes to the mission, and we are going to show you what your dollars did. So it's very cool. I can't.
The direct impact. Yeah.
The direct impact. Exactly. So I can't recommend them enough. When you watch that video, when you look it up, bring your tissues, because you will be weeping, ugly cry. It's really moving. I love their work.
It's so good. So good. That brings us, as we start to near the end, I wanted to let people have the chance to ask any questions that they might have. So while I ask Megan this final question, make sure to jump into the comments. I'm just checking. Benjamin, I love it. Wrote about lighting and audio. Yes, makes such a difference in Zoom meetings. 100% coming across way more professional. Thank you guys for sharing that. Any questions about virtual events? If you have an upcoming virtual event and you want to pick both of our brains really quickly, now is your chance to do it for free. But with that said, Megan, with 6 events coming up, what's the end of year look like for you? Do you have open opportunities to work with people? Are you looking into 2021?
Yeah, so we are taking new clients, but we are not that we can't handle the work to produce an event this year, because we can. I mean, one of our account directors did a magnificent event that raised $1.2 million that she did in 5 weeks. 5 weeks, she put that thing together. It's amazing. But we're coming into the holidays. We're coming into end of year giving. We are up against a challenging timeline. And so what we're doing right now is taking on new clients full steam ahead, or taking on new events, I should say, because some of them are repeat clients, full steam ahead on storyboarding, theme development, sponsor deck, but really pushing their date into early 2021, because we feel like you're going to get better donor, responsiveness, better engagement, and be able to secure more sponsor dollars and get more fees, because it's hard right now. People are very torn, and people have Zoom fatigue, as you said, screen fatigue. And so I think that pushing into the new year is probably going to benefit them better.
Yeah, gives you more leeway time. Just had a question come up. Range of cost for a 30-minute virtual event for a small nonprofit. Live gala raises about $15K.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, so it depends on who you use. For us, all right, I'll be straight with you. That's about our baseline for our 20-minute event is $15K. And if a client came, Nancy, if you came and said, hey, this is what we usually raise, what are your fees? I would tell you we're probably not the best fit. And I would actually steer you towards more like a stream realm, like a DIY kind of model, which is something we want to grow into. It's just not what we've done yet. And so I wouldn't be the best person to consult on that. Dana would actually Where are you? This way? This way?
Yeah.
There you are. You're this way to me. But so Dana would probably be even a better person to consult on some of the DIY pop-up model, whereas we are doing things, most of our events are netting at least 250,000 up to, well, as I mentioned, 1.2 million this year. So not to say there's anything wrong with only raising 15K, because we believe that you will raise more, especially in this model. So don't be discouraged, and have confidence. Yeah, have confidence that you can pull this off. There's enough tools and enough resources out there, especially with people like Dana, to make it happen.
Thanks for that. Yeah, Nancy, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. I love getting into the nitty gritty and teaching. Yes, work with me once, but then I can teach you how to do it so that you can do it on your own the next time. That's kind of my model for sustainability, is to be able to teach the internal team so that you feel confident, like Megan was saying, to be able to execute it yourself the next time. So you don't have to necessarily make the investment in a professional. Second question, Kathy, what's the best piece of advice to ask people for money for a small nonprofit during a short Giving Tuesday event and get them engaged? I can tackle this one first if you want, Megan, and then you can pop in.
I'd love to hear your answer.
So my idea of a small ask is all based on peer-to-peer. And I love using around Giving Tuesday Facebook fundraisers for a couple of reasons. One, it is you're asking your followers, your donors, your supporters to create one on your behalf. And they are reaching out to their friends and family. And not only are they supporting you as an organization, but they're supporting their friend. So there's that tie there. And oftentimes, even if you create a Facebook fundraiser on your Facebook page, make sure you're a registered nonprofit on Facebook first and foremost. You get 100% of the donation. And when you create the fundraiser, make it specific to an impact goal. Mm-hmm. So I launched one earlier this year. It made all the difference. If you do a blanketed Facebook fundraiser saying, help us raise funds for, I'm not sure which organization is, but I'm making up Children's Miracle Network. Okay, but that's not pulling at my heartstrings. That's not giving me an emotion. I can't relate to that. I just asked for $320 was my personal goal to raise for Dressember, which was a human trafficking organization. And I said $320 equals 8 hours of therapy for a survivor of trafficking. That someone can visualize, they can understand the impact of directly where their money is going. So that would be my advice, is to create those little small impact goals so that your advocates know what to pull to ask their community for.
Dana, I couldn't agree more. First of all, is connecting dollars to impact is one of the strongest things that you can do for a donor to what that does, and I want to talk about psychology really quick, because that addresses the emotional appeal followed by logic. Like, mm-hmm. We are emotional beings first, but we are immediately followed by logic. So just ask a blanket ask with no emotion. It only talks to your logic brain. But an emotional ask, like with that big emotional appeal, and then followed by, here's the dollar amount, is like emotional. And yes, I can do that. That logic is followed. So I love that. The other thing I would do as far as getting people engaged in something that we do a lot. I mean, I think it's good to have teasers and hooks. So we love raffles. Like, I think it's—
Oh, this is a good answer to this question right here, I think.
Yes. Okay. So we love using raffles, meaning for $25, you get one ticket. For $100, you get 6 tickets. So you do some kind of cost break. We're going to draw the winners live. You can enter your raffle ticket to these 5 buckets, and you can do that virtually through like a Google form, something that's very easy to put up, where they can go in and, indicate where they want their raffles to go. It's a great moneymaker. Make sure you have a raffle license. Make sure to check your local laws. In the state of Georgia, you do need a raffle license, but it's a 30-day turnaround to get one. And it gets people engaged. It gets them tuned in. You can say must be present to watch. You can have them text to give or chat in the chat box. And then I can say, all right, Dana, you're the winner. Are you here with us? And then Dana says, yeah. And I'm like, congratulations, Dana. It becomes this like fun, engaging, but what that does is give people low cost of entry. So there's no barrier. Hey, one ticket, $25, I can afford that. Right. And then also gives them that oh, or I could have this many chances, right? Again, logic brain is like, oh, it makes more sense to spend $100 and get 6 tickets to have more chances to win. So something like that, I think, is perfect. And then we recommend guest submissions. So, hey, take a quick 10-second video on your phone. Tell us why you support the cause, and you're going to see yourself live that night. So they submit, you get a bunch of videos coming in, and you do a little montage, and maybe you have them say something at the end. Like we did this recently where for a vision organization, a blindness prevention, where at the end they said, and that's my vision. And then we had all these little montages of people, and then all of them tied up, and that's my vision. And it just had that really strong impact and creates that sense of community.
Just the chills.
Yeah, it's like everyone's here together. You know, we all might be separate, but we are still moving in the same direction with our goals for this mission. So those are just a couple of teasers. Yeah.
Love that. I'm going to take one more question that I saw come in from Marla Kelly on YouTube. Hi, Marla. Thanks for joining us. Any thoughts on incorporating social media platforms in marketing efforts before the event? 1,000% yes. 1,000%. I would say, and I'm sure Megan will align with me on this too, is you want to distribute content and promotional materials where your audience is. So if that is on social media on one channel, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram, if it's YouTube, put the content wherever it needs to be. And also email marketing is really important for events. But I would say yes, but I think it's really important on social media that you remember, and I see this all the time, and sometimes I'm bad at doing it too, is social media is a one-to-one connection. So on Instagram stories, I might see a lot of people go, hey guys, there's no guys on the other side. It is one individual person. So talk to or put out content in a way that you feel like you're engaging with that one person. If only one person saw that piece of content, does it make sense? Does it feel personal? Is it engaging? Is there a call to action? So just make sure you use each social media platform for the purpose that it's created for. They all have different reasons why they have different tools and functionality. So think about, who is my audience on this platform and what content should I put there to communicate with them properly so that they will engage? That's my only thing. I always say never blanket a post across all platforms, because that's not how it's meant to be used.
Now, by that, Dana, do you mean never use the same post like for Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, ideally, if you can change it up, even if it's your copy, change it up. So for instance, Facebook is really great at driving website traffic. So maybe that's where you blog about what your event's going to be and you link to your page, versus on Instagram, you're putting a really compelling video or photo and you're just leaving the conversation on an Instagram and not necessarily having them go to a website, but it's more an informational feel.
You know, I turn to you for all of the marketing expertise. So that's a great question and a great answer. I hadn't thought about it. I mean, now I'm thinking, even in my live events, I'm usually saying, hi, good evening, friends, right? And I'm talking to like one person, you know, on the other side of the screen. So that's like a really interesting perspective to take. I learned that. You know, I'm learning that from you right now.
You have to catch yourself because it's so easy just to go plural.
Yeah.
But yeah, you think about the context of how is this actually being physically presented and how does it make sense to adjust your speech to it?
Yeah, no, that's great. Great feedback.
Awesome. So Megan, I feel like I could talk to you forever on this topic. But really quickly, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so you can currently find us at our website, www.auctioneventworks.com. Do people still say www? You can tell auctioneventworks.com. But we are actually rebranding right now. So we have some really exciting news coming out. We're just starting to tease this. We're hoping to launch the new brand at the beginning of 2021. You know, when I started, I was just an auctioneer doing events. And so that name made sense. And over time, we've added so many new services, provided such a deep scope of our work to our nonprofit clients that we stepped back this year. Thankful to the pandemic, we actually had some time to like breathe and go, okay, what can we do internally?
Yeah.
And we're taking a full stance into a new brand. So I'm not going to release the name yet because we're still in the
so exciting.
Yeah, we have new brand name, new logo, new website, everything. So it's going to be really exciting and really taking us to the next level of being able to provide comprehensive services across the board to our clients.
I love that. Amazing. Right here is the website. I think it's also in the post. If it's not, I can actually add it into the chat really quickly, so it's even easier to access.
Yeah, and I would say even those of you who are watching who have smaller budgets, there's still room for us to support at least on a consultation aspect. If that's something that you're looking for, or we could even do a power session with you, we're happy to do that. And that's something I'll even offer today, Dana, for any viewers who want to reach out to me directly. You can find our contact information on the website. I'll give them a discounted power session on how to do really try to cover all the bases, all the buckets, as I call them, of what you need to know about producing a live or pre-recorded or combination virtual event.
Love it. Awesome. So good. So good. Please, she's just super fun to talk to. You're on this side. Super fun to talk to. So if you do a power session, you're going to walk away with pointers guaranteed. So Megan, thank you so much for joining. I'm going to put back up the fundraising tool freebie in case anybody missed it. But Megan, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Dana, thank you so much. And we still need to get that socially distant glass of wine. So.
We do.
Still on the docket for us on the calendar.
Stay backstage and we'll plan it.
Excellent. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thanks for having me today. It was an honor, and I can't wait to continue watching your videos, Dana. You're teaching me even how to be a better steward online. I get in my little hole, and you're so great about sharing content and jumping on and teaching your supporters and your base. And so you're an inspiration to me too. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That was very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you. Megan is awesome. I just wanted to put this up really quickly for anybody who might have missed it at the beginning. If you take your phone, you can go ahead and scan this like you're taking a picture, and it'll come up with a download. And then also, if this conversation got you really excited and motivated for the holidays, and you want to brainstorm your ideas together and build out a plan for your social media strategy, you can do that with me and then pop over. Megan and I can work together. You can work with Megan's team on putting together a virtual event if that's what you have planned. But I'm doing a live group consulting session for November. So starting November 5th, there are 4 45-minute sessions via Zoom. And I'm doing it with a really intimate group because I want it to be really personalized. But each week I will have a mini lesson, about 10 minutes. And then the rest of the time, we are going to spend brainstorming through your individual organization. We're going to actually do work together. So there'll be some workshop time. I'll just put on some jams and let everybody work on the lesson we just talked about. And then come back the next week working on the next theme. So week 1 is all about setting goals. So whether it's your Giving Tuesday campaign, it's a holiday end of year campaign, whatever it is you're looking to brainstorm, we can talk about it and put together your goals. 2, it's all about messaging. So if you're not great on social media captions, if you don't know what your content calendar should look like, should you use videos? Where do you even find videos? How do you film them? Graphics, all that kind of stuff we'll talk about in week 2. Week 3, we will literally go through creating social media ads together. These can be really intimidating. Facebook actually just changed their whole user interface of their ads manager recently. So we'll go through the updated ads manager and get you all set on launching a test ad. And then week 4, you've been doing the work. So there's results coming in. So week 4 is we're going to dive into the analytics and adjust. So if you go to the QR code, I'll go ahead and put, I don't know if that's like handy, but if you go to the QR code, there is a special off on this right now. Normally it's $99 total. And my normal consulting fee is $150 per hour. So it's a significant value discount. And it's actually $74 right now if you use the code pumpkin20. So this QR code should automatically take you to the discount. But if it doesn't, The code is pumpkin20. And with that, I will go ahead and remove this. And thank you so much for everybody who participated in the comments. I only want to bring you the best content and insights possible about new tools, new tips. If there are certain things that you're looking to learn and you're not finding it on the Googles and it's just really complicated to find answers, please continue to just comment or shoot me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook. And I promise to try and do my due diligence in writing a blog post or getting another expert on to talk about it. So with that, thank you all so much for joining and have a great rest of the week and happy Halloween.